What's up, guys? It's Alex from Rap, Ohio. We have a really cool episode for you this week. We have a Ferrari 488 Spider. As you see, it's currently red. We're going to be wrapping the whole car in 3M satin dark gray metallic. This is a really classic color. It's smooth and sleek. It has a little metallic, as you see, but it's not too much. Then we're going to take some of the accent lines of this car and we're going to overlay gloss black on top of the wrap just to highlight the natural body lines of the car and kind of make the artistic lines jump a little bit more. In this video, we're going to show you the whole process from preparation, disassembly, wrap installation, and then finally the delivery. Make sure to stick around to the end because this is an absolute banger. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. We start off with a decontamination wash. This is a critical and first step to any wrap so you have a smooth surface underneath. Then we move on to the hood. As we're waiting for disassembly, we start on the hood because there's no components to remove. We underroll the liner in a bulk form before spraying a slip solution, which is a little bit of soap and water to avoid scratching the material. Then it's time to squeegee out the air, starting from the middle out, going from the top to the bottom. Once the hood's done, we move on to the fender. You can see Owen using some heat to soften the material, which increases the pliability. The key is not to overstretch it in the process, as it will pull back in the sun due to memory. Now that the mirror's been removed, we can move on to the door. We remove the mirror because there'd be a couple inch seam above the stem, and there's a lot that goes into taking the mirrors off. However, we like to do this so we can achieve the highest level quality, and with a car like this, we find it to be necessary. Owen works his way down to the bottom, keeping a stretch to the minimum and the tension to the minimum. This way, he can avoid adhesive lines and any form of discoloration. Next, Derek and Owen work together to position the material before Owen lays a tension line, and then he works his way to the edge using relief cuts along the way. This way the material can be fed into the recesses properly, covering all of the red. Next, we move on to one of the most difficult panels of the whole car. It's difficult for multiple reasons, but mainly because of the shape of it, and second, because of the color of the car. If you don't cover everything properly, that red will shine through and punch you right in the face. We use 2 heat guns to increase the pliability of the material to a max. Then you have to make very calculated stretch patterns in order to get the material to conform the way you want it to. Once you do stretch the material, you can use heat in order to shrink it back the way you want it to, so you're actually using the stretch to your advantage. Around the wheel well, you can see Owen shrinks the material out and basically irons it out to the bottom. This is a technique we'll use. Now that the material's been stretched, we're going to go around and shrink it where we need it to be shrank before we begin the squeegee process. Making relief cuts along the way is a critical step. This way you can get the material to conform the way you want it to. You repeat the process of stretching the material, heating the material, cutting the material, stretching the material, heating it, and cutting it. Some of these fundamentals do repeat over and over. However, there's slight variations based on the type of panel you're working with and its shape and its current color. When it comes to heating the material, it does soften the material and increase pliability. However, you do risk overstretching it, which can pull back in the sun, or you risk discoloring it or creating adhesive lines. So you have to be careful when heating it. Use it to your advantage, but don't rely on it too much. Once it's time to squeegee the material out, make sure you have a planned channel for the air. One thing you don't want to do is start at the edge and create a big air pocket in the middle that you can't get out without relifting the material, letting debris in, and causing all sorts of additional issues. Generally, you're going to start on the body line and work your way out to the edge, having a channel for the air to escape the whole time. We continue the process of squeegeeing the material to the edge, and then we trim off all of the excess and use fine tuckers in order to tuck the material in between each panel gap so there's no original paint color showing, and it should look like this. In the beginning of the video, I did mention that we're doing a two-tone look. It does have some custom body lines we're going to highlight as well, and this is with gloss black. So not only is this just gloss black, it's actually a super gloss pure black, so it's very dark when it comes to pigmentation, but it also has a super gloss finish, so it looks like paint. We're going to go ahead and start on the pillars of the car around the windshield, and then we're going to go ahead and do the back top of the hatch, as well as the top of the bumper and the body lines on the hood. This is going to give it a really aggressive look, and it's going to contrast against the satin gray really nicely. We're working together here in order to stretch and redirect the material, as it's actually wider at the bottom than the roll itself. If you do it properly, you don't discolor or disform the material at all, and it actually does one big piece so it looks like paint, and that's the goal. Continuing on with the gloss black two-tone, Owen works on the rear spoiler area. Before we move on to the spider hatch on the rooftop, you can see the reflection of this material literally looks like a paint job or like a mirror, and that's really cool because with wraps nowadays, it's evolved so much that if you install it correctly, someone really cannot tell the difference between the wrap and a paint job, and that's really rewarding as a vinyl wrap installer. As we move on to the rear roof, this is the piece that goes up and down and makes this Ferrari a spider. We wanted to do this in one piece in order to avoid a seam. However, it is very difficult because it goes up and down on each side. So we worked together and used a U-shaped squeegee pattern in order to get the material down without leaving adhesive lines or discoloring the film. You can see as we lift it up, we're minimizing tension as we work our way to the edge. Once the material's to the edge, we're going to go ahead and shrink it to soften the material and then trim off the excess. Once the excess is trimmed, we're going to raise it up and roll it around. This way the material's down and it covers the paint entirely. Utilizing the same technique on the roof. All right, so we have our midweek check-in. We are on Wednesday. The car is due on Friday, so we have the rest of today and then Thursday and Friday to finish up. So with this design, we have, like we said before, we're gonna have the satin gray base, and then we're gonna go back again and lay some gloss black overlays. For example, we're gonna take this body line here and transition it down in the front, and that's gonna give it like a gloss black swoop, a little more of an aggressive look. We did go gloss black with the window surround, the roof, and the mirrors, so it gives it the traditional two-tone look. We have to finish gloss blacking this piece here, and this piece, we have the top spoiler done. Now we're about to go ahead and do the rear bumper, but I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of the process. So we're gonna take this gloss black and follow this body line around. So we're gonna be laying knifeless tape right here on this body line, doing gray and then black. Typically for the most part of the car, we went gray first and just doing a black overlay so we don't have an embossed edge. So like this line, for example, we're gonna go and overlay black as well, and that carried on to the front bumper. Once we lay this line here, we'll do gray, and then we'll do a gloss black overlay for this body line down. Again, just kind of adding sleek lines to the car, highlighting the lines, giving it more of an aggressive look, and of course to make it unique as well. Owen preps the bumper before I lay knifeless tape. Knifeless tape is going to enable us to achieve a really nice, clean, straight line that's perfectly centered on the body line. This way, when we do make that transition between the gloss black and the satin gray, it's going to be clean and straight. When it comes to doing bumpers, we like to work together and we do what's called a glassing technique. I'm pulling long ways and Owen's pulling the opposite direction. This way we can stretch the material evenly across the panel before squeegeeing it out, and of course, yes, shrinking the edges. Now, once the material is fully squeegeed out, we pull our knifeless tape, and as you see, the line is perfectly straight and it's exactly centered on the body line. This helps us achieve that look. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the hood, laying knifeless tape on the body line yet again. You can see the body line tapers from thick at the top by the windshield down to thin by the emblem towards the bumper. We lay the material after we cut off the excess, and I'm going to do this by myself. So I'm going to underroll the liner and then utilize the U-shaped squeegee pattern, keeping the liner on. So keeping the liner on is basically going to even out the material as I squeegee it out. It's essentially like an extra pair of hands. It also helps to not overstretch the material. We work our way down little bits at a time, underrolling the liner as we go. Once we get towards the edge, we can go ahead and remove the liner fully and then finish squeegeeing it to the edge. Once the material is fully squeegeed out, we go ahead and pull our knifeless tape, revealing that perfect body line yet again. There's a lot of satisfying moments with vinyl wrap, but pulling knifeless tape and exposing that awesome line is one of them. Look at how this body line comes to life. While I finish up the hood, Owen puts the final touches on the rear bumper before I lay some yellow pinstripes to complete the look. Now that we have everything done, here's the final results. We have the Ferrari 488 Spider with the 3M satin dark gray base with the gloss black two-tone along with yellow pinstripes and yellow emblems to go with the factory calipers, and we did the custom painted gloss black wheels previously, so the final result is really cool. It's super custom and aggressive, however it's not overstated and too loud. This way it's a custom look without being too in your face and obnoxious. At the end of the day, it is a Ferrari, so it speaks for itself. Let's take a look and see what it looks like outside. It even looks crazier outside, as you can see all of the body lines highlighted even more with those quarter panel vents, giving it that classic 488 look. And from the rear, it looks just as good as well. If you're still with us, thank you so much for watching all the way into the end. It means the world to me. If you can drop a comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you'd like to see anything different in the future, I'll definitely take it into consideration. I have a lot more videos already filmed. We're going to be editing and posting shortly. Again, thank you so much. If you could drop a like and a comment and subscribe, that'd be appreciated as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.